By way of quick intro to me as well, actually, because there was a good question over there about taking, I guess Stephanie answered around taking a kind of experience in Imagineering how we use AI. My role, I've been with IMI, then Cisco, for 15 years. I was in the UK for the first 10 of those, working with a lot of our retail logistics accounts, working in Alex's team and with a lot of these guys here. And for the last 5, 6 years, I've been in North America. So why that's relevant as well is I'm still out there. My role became kind of global, so I moved into this kind of global practice, looking at what we do with a lot of our large enterprise customers in every region. So one of the things our team and myself should be doing is also helping, a few banks spoke there, what we're doing with the large banks in the US, in Canada, in APJC, et cetera, and sharing a lot of those learnings with you guys too. So I've come in from Toronto, so a tiny bit jet lagged, but I should be all right. So if there's any delays, that's the reason for it. And Ollie's going to join me in about 5 minutes, and he's going to do an awesome demo. So I'm looking forward to that, Ollie. And I'm also aware, as Charlotte said, food for thought, that I stand in between everyone here and lunch as well. So we've got, we'll try and speed it up a bit and get everyone upstairs to the 34th floor after this. There's the clicker. There you go, jet lag. So Jay threw this slide up earlier on. He talked about AI being pervasive across everything that we do. I'm going to double down onto the really AI bit, the AI agents piece. And there were some interesting comments as well around kind of why now is the time, the summer of AI, I think Stephanie was referring to, and also some comments around how what we previously understood as AI agents or chatbots to be, and they were a little bit underwhelming. So I'm going to address that as well. And everyone agrees with that comment, really. I think 25% being satisfied with their last customer self-service engagement. It's because I think when we look at what machine learning brought to the market, it wasn't really delighting customers. It wasn't as easy for brands to deploy. Cisco did an AI readiness survey recently, and it said 40% of CIOs stated resource, AI specialists, were the reason they couldn't get AI going within the business. And that's because it's hard. You've got to have Python developers, data scientists, and all these skilled specialists within the organization. So let's talk about maybe why now is the time for AI, and why we think, as Stephanie referred to, that summer of AI comment around turning these frustrating experiences that Jay talked about up front into exceptional ones. I'm going to show a demo. So I'm going to kick it off with showing you the technology in action. This is going to be a coffee ordering experience. I think everybody is familiar with ordering a coffee, most regularly from a human, from a barista. But some may have used like a Starbucks app or something like that. But many of you probably won't have done it in a digital messaging channel. So we're going to show it in a digital messaging channel. The other thing I'm going to show here is what we call a scripted, very deterministic, more chatbot, kind of tap not text experience using the rich messaging channels capabilities. And then I'm going to show you the same experience again, autonomous. So I'm going to show you both. There's no right or wrong way to do it, but it's just worth seeing two ways of doing this, solving the same problem, essentially. On the right-hand or left-hand side for you guys, it's going to show some of the technology at the back end. If you're not interested in kind of what's going on as I talk to it, just follow the customer experience on the phone on the right-hand side. OK, so we're going to kick off. Someone scans a QR code. Most of these journeys you'll see around here, you scan a QR code, triggers a keyword, coffee. We're going to do a little bit of logic to just check, do we know who this customer is? Can we find out anything about them? Are they in the CRMs? We can do a few data dips. Talks about personalization at the start. It's important. In this case, we don't know the customer. We're going to see if the coffee bar is open, is it accepting orders, and of course, it is in this case. We can pass through information like 10-minute wait time, and then you can see the tap, not text-like features at the bottom. So here we just see the customer triaging through a series of menu options. We could do this in a more efficient way. We could just provide one long menu, but we've decided to do it in this way. Essentially, when I talked about deterministic, when you build a flow or a customer experience like this, it's very difficult for the customer to fall out of the journey. So we're essentially improving the containment rate and ensuring everybody gets through the path and gives us all the information we need, even though it might take a tiny bit longer than just typing in what you want. Finally, you can confirm the order. In this case, we then pass this information back. Jay mentioned integrating with business systems is really important, right? You're actually creating a task here. You're pushing information into an order management system that the barista will then be able to pick up that order, create the order. I won't show you this bit, but then once the barista moves it through different parts into preparation or ready for pickup, we can then reply and send messages to say, you know, your order is going to be with you in 5 minutes, or now it's ready for pickup. But what I wanted to show is the alternate version of this, which is using our autonomous agent. So you could argue, why all the steps? Can't I just tell the agent what I want? And you absolutely can. So in this case, in this example, we can just open the PDF in the rich messaging channel, look at what the options are, and type in hot latte with almond milk and caramel syrup. We know, because we've programmed the agent to fulfill a task with certain sets of criteria against it, that it also needs to know, is it regular or decaf? So it's not just taking the order and blindly handing it off. It knows what it needs to do to complete the task and the information it needs. So then ask the customer, can you confirm that? And in the same way as the first example, we'll then pass that off into the order management system for the barista to make the coffee. So Ollie's going to then bring to life another example towards the end and show how we build kind of these knowledge bases behind the scenes. What I just want to kind of summarize here and then show you a little bit about the Webex AI Agent product that's behind it is, I guess, omni-channel. So the first thing to know is that is a live example we use at events. You saw Apple Messages for Business. We'll show loads of RCS examples later today as well. But that is live across RCS, WhatsApp, and SMS. We could add voice to it very, very easily if we wanted to. No one's going to need voice for that example. But the point being, omni-channel AI agents, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. You can just propagate them across any channel. We have the autonomous and scripted modes that I just showed you, autonomous being ask it anything, scripted being deterministic, if this, then that logic. And we have the ability to take actions that I showed there, create a coffee, and Ollie's going to show our knowledge base bot as well, so how we build knowledge bases and how we use LLMs to interrogate them. And of course, you integrate with systems to fulfill the actions like the order management system, and we'll show you a banking IDMV example in a second as well. And for many of these, you'll need to integrate seamlessly with your contact center. I'm actually coming back, I think you saw at the end of today, and I'll show more about how we hand over into the contact center and that piece, but for this, we're just going to focus on the AI agent itself. So a couple of quick demonstrations of the back end here. Jay kind of mentioned this, but we believe the technology advancements in large language models, they were the missing link in doing these autonomous bots effectively. So I'm going to show you kind of what these human-like self-service interactions look like when we're building them at the back end. So here you're going to see a dashboard. So I click play, you can see the mouse scroll up and create an agent. So this is a banking bot that we've created. We've created a set of different AI agents here. So you can either take one from the templates or you can build it from scratch. We're going to go in and build it from scratch. And you can then select whether you want autonomous, as I was describing, or scripted. And then you can answer decide whether you want it to answer questions or perform actions, and it summarizes it for you. We can also, as I said, answer questions from a knowledge base. So before I look at how we create actions, I'll show you the knowledge base piece. And it's so simple, and Ollie's going to build one live for you in a minute. Well, kind of live for you in a minute. You're going to see a bunch already created here. So credit cards, debit card, banking fees, these are all our knowledge bases. Essentially, within them, there are articles that kind of compromise all the things that you can ask. So these are a set of PDFs already uploaded. And in this one, we're going to show you as well how you can just custom add information. So you can just, I think I've got to click play. Yeah, custom add information. So you can just go in and you can just create a new bit of content. Here you go, understanding credit cards, credit card charges. Here you just name your content, card minimum payments, and you paste the content in. So we're behind the scenes here. We're creating an algorithm that runs off semantic ingestion and RAG, for those of you that are aware of those concepts, retrieval augmentation generation. And so we're essentially programming our agent to just only respond to information that we are putting into here, as opposed to anything off the World Wide Web, which we don't want. Does it move through? Yeah. And then I can also show you how we take actions. So that's the knowledge base piece, but we also want to take actions. Here you have the ability to define scope of the bot. So you're going to see the agent's goal, Evergreen Bank. This is the purpose, the reason that the bot exists. So you're giving it its identity. And then the instruction is a more granular set of instructions really aimed at telling it exactly what you want it to do when a customer interacts with it. So as we define the instruction, if you can read it, it looks a bit granular to me. It's saying first we want to authenticate the customer. So if you're a banking bot, we don't just want to just start giving random information back to someone. We need to know who they are. So then we can create an action for identify and verify the user. In this case, we are going to take two inputs. We've decided to use zip code and date of birth. And these are essentially used to validate who they are, who they say they are. We can then essentially use a Webex Connect, for those of you familiar with our workflow flow builder. We can use a flow from there to essentially connect to a Connect workflow and go and retrieve those variables that you saw there to be used either to personalize the flow moving forward or pass back to a CRM afterwards for reporting purposes. And so essentially you saw we're defining an input, triggering a workflow, and then retrieving an output as a result. If you're not ready for autonomous agents, and there was, I think there was a Cisco readiness study said there's only about 13% of enterprises and brands have actually adopted AI, and I think a lot of people are waiting for everyone else to do it and understand their learnings a bit as well, so we completely understand that. And so there's also the ability to do the scripted path. So this is the deterministic path, more how we used to build, I think someone mentioned chatbots, a bit more how chatbots kind of used to be built. So using intents and entities and utterances, and think of utterances as ways to ask a question. So we're defining the questions that can be asked by the customer. What we're going to show you here, though, is we can also use a bit of generative AI to think of all the different ways that someone might ask a question. So you can say, help with lost or misplaced credit card. I want you to generate 5 different ways of asking it and be highly creative. And then we return, I've lost my credit card. I don't know what to do. Help, my credit card seems to have gone missing. It's been a disaster. Essentially, what this is doing is it's preventing what is called the cold start for developers. Often, you need a lot of training data to be able to get your bot to where you want it to be. So you start day one, and you realize it can only contain about 20% of customers. Then you have to keep training it. So the generative piece here allows you to prevent that cold start and improve your containment rates from day one on all of these kind of intents and utterances and questions you're asking your bot to build. And finally, agent escalation. So I'm not going to go into too much detail here, and I know we're conscious on time, so I want to get Ollie up doing his demo. I will show you towards the end how we're not just kind of handing over to the agent seamlessly. That bit's kind of table stakes. We're also using agent summaries, so summarization tools and techniques in there as well. But also within the agent, there are AI-infused capabilities to make the agent more productive and more empathetic and take actions and do their job better too. As I said, I'll show a little bit about that at the end of today. But for now, Ollie, if I can invite you up to run through a demo. Ollie Cook.
All good. Thank you, Dave. On the screen is our AI agent desktop. Down the left-hand side, we've got a series of menus. We have the ability to build out a knowledge base. By creating a knowledge base, we're giving information that our bot can use to be able to answer questions the customer may ask it. We're going to, on the left-hand side, select knowledge base, and we would then add documents or files to that knowledge base. We can upload PDFs, docx, CSVs, any form of file into the system. If this video had played, you'd see that I had 2 PDFs to provide some information about the BT Tower. There's a timeline of kind of significant events in the tower's history, and some information that the bot can use to be able to answer questions that anybody may ask about it. At the point we then set up our AI agent, we're creating an agent and defining a goal. So in a knowledge-based scenario, I created an agent that is friendly, it's able to answer questions about the event, and I can also define sort of some of the limits to its knowledge. So I've said that the event is invite-only. The event is going to be hosted between 10 and 5, roughly. There's beers afterwards, and I think Alex is going to pop a card behind the bar. So the bot is able to answer questions alongside an existing journey, and the journey that will play, I don't know if we can mute the audio. Maybe, we'll see. No, probably not. I'll run this on my phone for you afterwards. I've got a QR code. You can use it on your own device as well. But we've got a simple journey built out in RCS. Now, we've chosen RCS because it's really lovely and rich. And this particular journey... You can hit play, it's muted it. It's muted it, cool. So this particular journey is using RCS as a channel. It's lovely and rich. So we can serve images, we can serve clickable buttons, and we can give customers the opportunity to interact with the journey. Now, what we've got along the kind of the middle section there is what we would do with a customer if they confirm their attendance. So here they're going to click the button, and we're going to provide some follow-on comms with a document, a PDF that's attached that sort of informs them about their security considerations that they may have to be mindful of. By adding a knowledge bot into the journey, though, we're providing natural language responses to questions customers may ask about the event. So we can elevate the journey really, really simply by adding 2 nodes. Here I've asked, can I bring my kids? We've trained the bot. We've given it its kind of its constraints, and we've said that actually, no, it's an invite-only event, so only invited guests may attend. So the next question I might ask is, hey, is the observation deck open to the public? Again, the bot is going to receive that inbound question, the LLM is going to craft a response based on the documents that I've uploaded, and it's going to tell me that actually, no, the observation deck is closed, there was a bomb in 1971, and eventually the restaurant, when it closed in 1980, was kind of the last public access up to the top floor. I might now want to ask and say, okay, fine, how far can I see from the top? And this is the view you guys are going to have shortly. Now, this is where we start to encounter some of the edges in the bot's knowledge. It doesn't know how far I can see, but it's going to craft a response. What it won't do is create something made up. Right? My kids are 8 and 10. They talk about false news in social media, and they're aware of that. So this is going to say, actually, look, you're really high up. You're going to be able to see quite far. And given that we're in central London, you'll probably be able to see some really cool stuff. Like, that's enough, actually. I've got a conversational response that I can use as a customer. I'm going to finish by simply saying, hey, look, great, I'll see you on the 26th, looking forward to the event. And again, because of its conversational nature, the bot can respond to me and say, great, yeah, looking forward to seeing you there. If you need any other info, just reach out. So we've got an open channel of communication, which for me enhances a kind of a conversational messaging journey for a customer, significantly beyond the simple click and sort of pre-constrained message that might follow. I do apologise that the videos didn't work. I was working through them earlier, but hey, we've made the best of it. This demo is live, it's on a phone. If anybody wants to try it, I've got a QR code you can scan. So come and find myself or Gavin, who's sitting at the back, and we can show you both how this journey is constructed, and as I say, allow you to try the journey for yourselves.